Well, COF time again for the old Kenworth, but a little job I've been putting off for a while. It's had a few little oil leaks, it's just been getting worse, and it's like, well, I really need to get on top of this and fix it. So what I thought would be a relatively simple job was like, yep, let's just change the gaskets on these on the three covers here, which have the cam followers on. So the two back ones would come off easy enough, right? Once I got the compressor off and stuff, but the front one, well, I had to, well, there it is there. Managed to pull that off the front, and now I've got to figure out how I time that back up again. The rest of the job is relatively simple. Just got to take the jake brakes off, which is these bits here, and then the rocker boxes, pull the rods out that sit in the buckets on the cam followers, and then pull these 1, 2, 3 cam follower covers off. Now they're all shimmed. I understand they set up the valve timing. I don't have a kit to set that up, so I'm just going to have to measure them and change the gaskets on it and put back what was there. Yeah, we'll see how that all goes. And yeah, taking the power steering pump off the bottom as well. So yeah, just tidying up a few little leaks. I was just getting a little bit beyond a joke. I've tried siliconing them up for a little while, but yeah, now I think the ones on a couple of them on the rocker boxes are leaking as well. But yeah, that's where we're at. Now for the easy part, which is actually taking the top of the motor apart. I'll do a bit of a follow-up and see how we get it all timed and get it all going again. Anyway, that's where we're at at the moment. Catch you later. Back working on the old Kenworth, back into the old oil leak issues that we've had, mainly from these cam follower covers, and there was one down by the the power steering pump down there, and I think the compressor was fine, but I needed to take that off to get to the front cam follower cover, and the oil seal on the front is leaking a little bit. You probably can't see that very well, but anyway, I've cleaned them all up. You have to scrape every little skerrick gasket off because from the block and the cover. The cover's here. That's all cleaned up. Got the gaskets sitting on it. Yeah, and as I said before, the thickness of the gaskets affect the timing. So yeah, if it's further out, obviously the valve will open a little bit earlier, further or later rather. If it's further in, it'll open earlier. So anyway, the way I got around that was, I'll pass those over to Jade. So to take the piece of gasket which came off here, I took the piece off the middle because it actually came off really easily, and this is the bits off the block. So as you can see, they're made up out of several gaskets to get the right thickness. Now I just like I don't have the correct gear to set the valve timing up, so I thought, oh, I'll just measure the gaskets. So we're around about 140 thou on those ones, and so I just got the same number of gaskets, or the amount of gaskets here, and measuring in the same spot. It comes up to 144 thou. So yep, so that's allowing for a little bit of crush. That's the closest I could get with the gaskets that I had. So I figure that's going to be all good. So now it's just a matter of bit of oil on everything, and we'll bolt them all up. And I got each one, so everyone seems to be about the same size, so about 140 odd thou. So we'll bolt all those on. And my other issue was because I took the fitting out of here, I've now lost the valve timing, not the valve timing, I've lost the timing for the pulley. So it won't affect the timing for the engine. So the engine will go fine, but when you go to run the overhead, if it's not bang on, then you won't be able to line up the marks A, B, or C, which, sorry Joe, which line up with this little pointer here. So I did mark where a little keyway thing was, but there is a plug in the side here. You can probably see it from the inside here, a bit easier. It's alright, too fat to go in that way. Right, so there's this little plug, don't know if you can see that, but there. So I'll take the plug out of the front, I'll put it back in where I think it is, and there's a timing mark on the gear, and that should line up with the timing mark on the gear here. I should be able to see with a mirror and a torch. I should be able to see whether everything's timed up perfectly. That's the plan anyway. Hopefully next time you see this, it'll be all this part will be back together, and we'll be putting the top of the engine on. And because I don't have a shed yet, I have to do this all outside. So hence the covers, because yeah, it just poured down with the rain before. Fortunately, it's all covered up, so nothing got wet. Anyway, till next time. Catch you later. Alright, so this is the last source of oil leaks, which is from the rocker boxes. Notice a few of them are leaking around where the rocker shafts go through. I had a look online, couldn't see anything how to change these, but the ones I saw had Allen key plugs in the end, but mine don't. So mine have got a bolt out, central location, a locating piece with an Allen key in the middle here, and this just stops the shaft from moving backwards and forwards. Let's see. That just comes out like that, and there should be a little plug on the end, and there's a hole in it. So, oops, oil comes all the way through this up for your jake brakes. Anyway, so that's that. Then I just use a socket. It just taps the shaft out there. Pretty simple job, just to hook that O-ring off. Yep, quite flat. Right, so let's put a little bit of oil on here. Use seal. See how easily that moves. So I can just do the same. I'll just tap that back in. tap it through to it. So the other side pops out. You can see that one's well worn. Yeah. That just slots back in nicely to about the right. Yep, that's about right there. Drop your little, oh, yep, drop it. And it'll locate the shaft, stop it from sliding out. Just like that. So I've got one more to do, one more rocker box to do, and then we'll replace all the gaskets which we got from EML. Clayton Bird there, fantastic guy, knows exactly what you need. I just ring him up and he asks me all the questions I haven't even thought of, and do you need this, you need that, and I go and and I end up needing it anyway, so I just accept what he says to get everything. But yeah, they're really awesome to deal with, great prices as well. So hopefully this will be the end of the oil leaks, which I did not have an idea how they all started. Was when I first got the truck, it was a little bit of a mess, and things weren't entirely hooked up correctly. As in, I couldn't understand why there was oil in the cab. I thought it might be a oil pressure gauge leak or something, because it's a direct reading gauge. But no, it wasn't that. It was someone had hooked up the air compressor to the air fan switch. So it had it's got an air switch on the fan, which you flick in the cab and the air engages the clutch on the fan and drives the fan. So someone had hooked up the oil line to that, and so when the engine was cold, it was pumping oil into the air system. Fortunately, it has an isolator for the accessories, so it only really got into the accessory system, which took ages to clean out. And of course, once the air pressure got up, she was pumping like 100 psi of air into the engine. So when I first got it, I noticed the crank main seal was leaking when I got the engine out. So I replaced that, and it was blowing oil out the breather cap, and I was like, what's this? What's going on with this? So then when I put it back together and I found all the stuff was hooked up wrong, I was like, okay, I understand now. And I think all these oil leaks have just been this is probably just wear and tear, but all the others are just from that being hooked up wrong and pressurizing the engine. Lucky it didn't do any damage to it. Anyway, it's a bit of a story about oil leaks, so hopefully this is the last of it. So last couple of seals, put the rocker boxes back on, obviously clean everything up, and run the overhead, which I've already done in the previous video, so I won't put you through the pains of doing that again. And that should be it. She should be back on the road, back to hauling some more metal. Okay, that's it for now. See you later. So she's all back together, finally. Little girl. Can't really see much, I suppose, in there. I'll come around the other side. We had to rebuild the cab strut because that crapped out on us, and No, the cab was going nowhere, so that's all been redone. All bars back on just now. It's the last bit. The cab pump still needs some work. Had to let the pressure out of it. But that's everything in there. All back together. Topped up everything. Oh, you can't see much. There you go. Right, give it a crank. See if she goes. Oh well. Must have done something right. Just have to you can't really tell if there's any leaks, so I'll have a closer look, see if there's anything leaking on the ground. Job done. Thank goodness. She lives again, good old girl.